What up? Welcome back to the Triple Cross Podcast. We are live. Ja Morant is back. Cat Towns is back. Luka Doncic is back. NBA refs suck. We're back right after this. Let's go.
The following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.
What's up, everybody? It is good to be here. We got a special guest. We'll get to him in a minute. First, we got to get to our sponsors. They keep getting mad at me because I keep forgetting them. So I'm not forgetting them today. I'm getting there first. First up, we got Perk Clothing's Feel Good Chinos. End of the day, bottom line, one thing I could say about these things is they're chinos that make your booty look good. Look, there's a lot of stuff out there that are meant to make the ladies look sexy. There's makeup, there's push-up bras, there's all that stuff. Nothing to make the men look sexy though. Perk Chinos make your booty look good. They move some space. It's all about spacing. Everything's all about spacing. They move some spacing from the back to the front, so that frees up the boys in the front, and it tightens it in the back, and it just makes you look good. They're also very, very comfortable. Could wear them, to swimming. Could wear them to bed. Could wear them to work out. You could wear them to do whatever you want. I don't know why you do that, but you would. If they're that comfortable. Link in description, buy one, get one 50% off. Perk Chinos. Casey, who else is bringing us our show today?
John, this episode is also brought to you by Conzuri. Boys, you know what we're talking about, right? Like John mentioned, the ladies have so many things to make themselves look better. Those types of items like the push-up bra, the makeup they wear every day, things like that. But just guys, we don't really lean into those things. We don't try to cover our deficits quite as much, maybe, those things like that. But why not? This is the modern age. Let's get into it. If you are a short king like myself, sorry, got an issue here audio-wise. Sorry about that. If you're a short king like myself, I'm sitting at about 5'6", guys, to be fully honest with you. And you know what I would love? A couple inches more of height. And I'm definitely going to head over to Conzuri, get myself some shoes that will make me appear taller than I actually am, up to 2.8 inches taller without anybody being able to tell. I know it sounds too good to be true. That's why I personally have to go check it out for myself. You should go check it out for yourself too. For a limited time, our listeners can get an extra 15% off their order with the code TRIPLE at conzuri.com. The site's already 30% off, so with our code, that's an extra 15. That's 45% off in total on your entire order. So go to Conzuri, that's CONZURI.com. Use the promo code TRIPLE, and you'll save that 45% off, and that link is also in the description as well.
Thank you,
John. I think we lost your audio there, John.
All right, here we go. Lots of technical difficulties today, but we're getting it figured out. We've also got a giveaway going on right now, so hit the link in the description. Any NBA jersey, any player, any team, any edition. It's got to be in stock in the NBA shop. I'm not going to go hunting down a jersey for you. I got stuff to do. But yeah, I mean, any jersey that is available in the NBA shop, and that's a lot of them. I mean, I think they got Durant OKC jerseys. They might have Durant Supersonics jerseys if that's what you're into. I will get it for you. Hit the link in the description and enter. It takes 10 seconds. So, you could be back just doing your thing, just going about your day in the next 10 seconds. We also have an amazing guest today. I want to give him a chance to talk about his stuff, his podcast, his IG, all the cool stuff he does in a second. But first, I know a lot of you guys are here because you're like, whoa, what's up with the NBA shop gift cards? How do we get those? Here's the deal. The directions are in the video description, but you'll first like the video. We give away a gift card every 10 likes on the video. Second, you got to subscribe and hit the bell icon. Third, you got to get in the chat and say something. Tell me what you think about NBA refs. Tell me what your favorite flavor of ice cream is. I don't care. Just say something. You got to say something. You can't say nothing. We have to know you're here. So that's how you enter that giveaway. Carter, we're 5 minutes in and we're just getting to you, man.
I want to shout
here,
out,
dude. What? Yeah, shout out what you got to shout out.
Give my shout outs. So obviously my Instagram is right here. I think they can see it. Oh, and we're inverted. Right there's my Instagram at NBA District. And I want to shout out my podcast with my buddies Mason and John at Winners Work Pod on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram.
Yeah, I'll shout it out too. The reason I reached out to Carter is because like from day one of when we like started the Triple Cross thing, I've thought your content is incredibly smart. Like you come up with all kinds of stuff that I'm like, man, that is so interesting to know, and I never would have thought of looking into it.
Thank you.
So definitely follow them wherever. Their podcast is really entertaining. The IG is amazing stuff. Comes up first every time because I engage with it. But yeah, man, good to have you here.
Good to be here.
Let's talk Ja. Let's talk Cat. Let's talk Luka. Did you watch them all last night, or who'd you watch?
I was playing Call of Duty last night. I did not watch any hoops last night. I've been following the news. I do mostly following the news. Ja Morant, so he came back from his team suspension and the NBA suspension combined, kind of.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if we were clear about what the team did about it. You know what I mean? Like I think the team just let the NBA take care of it with 8 games, right?
Okay.
I could be mistaken.
I think the team gave him a couple games, and then Ja said he was going to take a few games off, and then the NBA gave him 8 games, including what he already missed.
Yeah. Well, he was in rehab for 36 hours. So yeah,
he's good now.
What was he rehabbing? Like he's not. I don't think he has any kind of addiction or anything like that. Addiction to attention. Did he have to go to attention?
That could be it. That
rehab.
Could be it.
Yeah, so he was down there for 36 hours in Florida. I think he was just taking a vacation, honestly. He was doing the Dennis Rodman thing, like I need a day.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he looked good. Of the 3, well, Luka looked really good too. But yeah, Ja looked good. He looked like he was right. He didn't miss much. Mm-hmm. Such is the case, I guess, when you're what is he, 20, 21 years old?
21, 22, I think.
Yeah, take a few days back and take a few days off, get right back into it. Cat looked incredibly average,
He's been gone for 50 games.
That's a lot of games. Yeah. I would not expect him to come and step right back into the swing of things. And the other thing that we haven't talked about the Timberwolves in a really long time because Cat got injured, but the Timberwolves were sort of a hot topic at the beginning of the season because it was like, how does this work? How does what your guys are doing work? So already I think they have a hard time figuring out what they're trying to do. So yeah, he didn't come step right back into it. Yeah. What are your thoughts on the T-Wolves? You're a Cavs fan. From all your jerseys in the background.
They've managed to stay afloat without one. They don't really have a clear-cut best player. I guess right now it's Anthony Edwards with Cat being injured. Him personally, kind of taking the front line.
Cut, but yeah.
But at least preseason, it was kind of they were all the same tier, and they've lost one of those 3 guys, and then they've stayed like I imagine they're around 500, which is anywhere from the 6 seed to the 10 seed right now. So they've stayed afloat. If they can get the team to mesh like they expected it to at the beginning of the season, and then get into the playoffs, maybe avoid the play-in. They could win a round, but they could also just get booted in the play-in. It really depends on what they can do in these last couple of weeks.
I don't think they're going to avoid the play-in, honestly. And if they don't avoid the play-in, well, okay, let's play this game. They get the 6th seed and they get the Kings in the first round. What you got?
Probably Sacramento, but I say probably because
go ahead. Yeah,
Sacramento would probably be I'm going to get Kings hater stuff for this, but the thing I've noticed with the Kings, obviously their defense is still really bad, and that's like that matters extra in the playoffs. And the other thing I noticed that hasn't gotten talked about with the Kings is that other than the Kings, every West team, probably every other team in the NBA has gotten like hit with injuries, and that usually happens like every single year. And when I was looking at like lineups that were really good, the Kings starting lineup is they've all played like 50, 60 games. Like they've stayed healthy. Knock on wood, they continue to stay healthy. Don't want to wish injury on anyone, but they've stayed healthy, and I think that's played a big role in them having the seed and the record that they have, as well as just bringing in Sabonis made them a super high-powered offensive team. But also, obviously, they allow a lot of points too, but they get the wins.
We brought that up. We talked about that a couple weeks ago. Is that like so? Let me preface this all by saying I actually super dig the Kings this year. You know what I mean? Like I'm into it, you know?
Yeah.
I do like I do love when like a small market team like looks really good though. But yeah, they've been healthy, right? So it's hard for me to say that really they can beat any other team's fully healthy lineup. But I will say this, I think there are a lot of teams that could grab that 6 seed that the Kings would struggle with way more than the Timberwolves.
Yeah.
If it's the Clippers, if it's the Mavs, if it's the Suns, if it's
Warriors.
the Lakers, even, you know, the Warriors, gosh, yeah, all of them. So if you're the Kings, I guess you probably kind of want the T-Wolves to grab the 6 seed. Personally, I don't think so. I actually think I think they're having a hard time figuring out. So I guess that's maybe because you're talking about this season. Give me your overall, just your take, you know, go full opinion on it. Go full Stephen A. Smith
on the Wolves,
you know, on the Wolves. Yeah.
Now, I mean, next year it's going to be the same story if they can get the Ant Cat Gobert thing to fit. Because last year, well, it was defense and rebounding was like the clear issue, and then they bring in elite defense and great, probably elite rebounding, and then it didn't seem to mesh immediately, and they didn't really have a lot of time to get it to mesh. Maybe 20 or so games before Cat went down, if not less. So I think on paper it can still work. The double big is interesting. If Cat can defend at the 4 position, I think that's probably their biggest issue now.
Yeah, I don't know. The double big is interesting. It does allow Cat to do what he wants to do, which is pop. He doesn't want to roll.
Yeah.
So I suppose that's good. I think one thing it does a little bit though is it clogs up the lane for Anthony Edwards, and if it's me, if I'm the Timberwolves, he's the piece. He's the piece you build around.
Definitely the most valuable piece. Yeah.
Yeah, I would go out on a limb and say he's the best player. He's the best player there, right? Cat is a good player, but we've had a lot of years of Cat Towns now not showing that he's a guy that you build a contender squad around. Yeah. So I think it's Anthony Edwards, and I think if you're taking scoring options away from Anthony Edwards, that's a problem, right? If you're clogging up the paint, if you're clogging up the inside to it, and like, you know, putting some guy in the dunker spot like Rudy, and you're taking that option away from him, and you're allowing teams to be able to play shot on him a little bit more because they know there's a help defender there, that's an issue, right? Like a team like the Cavs, let's say, if Donovan Mitchell, Darius Garland, whoever's guarding him, right, they know that they have Evan Mobley behind them because Rudy Gobert isn't going to move from 5 feet away from the rim. That's an issue, right? Unless it's a pick and roll. The only way you get him working is in a PNR. And I don't think that Anthony Edwards is incredibly great in a PNR. I think that personally, I actually think that the T-Wolves could make it work a little bit better if they did this first unit, second unit thing, and they didn't do double bigs, right? So if they go Cat and Anthony Edwards in their first unit, and then they go with Mike Conley and Gobert in their second unit. Yeah. And they let those two run the PNR because those two can run the PNR incredibly well together. Has been proven for multiple years now. That's kind of my thoughts on it. But I think they would have one of the best second units in the league if they did that. And they would be pretty heavily reliant on their second unit, like outscoring other second units.
I'm not sure you can move any of those big 3 to the bench, but like for the middle, like 30 minutes, just keep swapping those lineups and just stagger your stars, but probably still close.
Yeah, they're going to start.
Yeah.
Still close and open with your main guys. Ja Morant, he looked good. We talked about him. Luka, did you see that whole? And this is where we can transition into refs a little bit.
I saw it on Instagram. I couldn't tell if the refs were actually at fault there or if the Mavs were at fault for like not realizing the situation. But I mean, they were all on the other end of the court and they were away from where the ball was. So I don't know if they didn't know the play was going back or if they thought they had the ball or what.
Yeah. So I saw it live. And Mark Cuban also tweeted about it, and he said the wrong thing. What he said was incorrect. So this is what happened: is the ref? It was a bang bang. The ref. It was like a really bad, like physical call by the ref. But what happened is that the ball went out of bounds, and the ref called it out of bounds, and he called it Warriors ball. He did not call it Mavericks ball. But and there's a clip that shows this better. But he called out of bounds and he called it Warriors ball, not Mavericks ball. But what happened is that there was a standard TV timeout right after that. So then he called TV timeout on the Mavericks. So he literally went like out of bounds, blew the whistle, and he like really quickly pointed Warriors. So it's like out of bounds Warriors, and then he pointed with his other hand toward the Mavericks. So if you weren't watching him in that split second right after he blew the whistle, you would think he called Mavericks ball. But the tell was actually Kuminga, because Kuminga got on him about it and was like, "You're calling Mavericks ball." And Kuminga was literally, it was the person that went, like, he was the person that might have went off if it was the Mavericks ball. So if he didn't see the ref in time, like nobody saw the ref in time. So the Kuminga got on him about it, and he was like, no, I called it Warriors ball. Like he told Kuminga that. So he called it Warriors ball from the jump. He just did it so quick, and then he called a TV timeout for the Mavericks that it looked like he called out of bounds Mavericks ball. Yeah. So they were all at the other end of the floor, and then the Warriors just inbounded it and scored. Like, because the Warriors did know it was their ball. Kuminga knew it was their ball. And Mark Cuban, I think, said, "Oh, he started out calling it Mavericks ball, and then he changed the call during the timeout and didn't tell us." That's not true. He didn't do that. That would be dicey if he did that. Though when Mark Cuban tweeted all that, I totally believed it. I was like, "Yep, I could see an NBA 100% could see an NBA ref doing that." You know what I mean? So I think this goes into the larger thing of like, you and I, we're fans, right? Like we watch a lot of basketball. Even if the refs suck, we're still going to watch it. But like, I think my main question about refereeing is like, and this is maybe a great question for you, Casey, and for the chat. Do the NBA refs ruin this for the casual fan, right? Like, has it gotten so out of hand with the way that they call things, or whether it's missed calls or just calling stuff that's ticky-tack and dumb or whatever? Like, does it feel too WWE-ish to like the casual NBA fan? You know what I mean?
As kind of the token casual of the show, I think that, being big fans of other sports, I think my opinion basically is like consistency is the issue. Just any situation, basically, like I guess like very late stages of the game, I'm kind of a fan of like let them play a little bit more maybe, but consistency is the main thing. It seems like, just from my personal point of view, any contact almost automatically a foul. And then like there's some off ball stuff. You're like, that seems like that could kind of be foul, or, I'm kind of an old head in that way. Even like half the time I'm like, guys like halfway traveling with the ball. They don't call that kind of stuff ever really. So I don't know. Consistency would be the main thing in my mind though, that I think they miss out on.
Carter, thoughts?
Definitely consistency, and then be more lenient late game. I feel like casual fan, like they like to complain about the refs. So maybe bad calls make them follow the league more, because they get to complain about bad calls, and it's their favorite pastime.
Yeah. Well, what do you think about Suns fans? Because I think over the last two games specifically, it's funny because I'm actually currently in Phoenix, and I'm talking to a bunch of Suns fans, and they're like, "Don't you think that the Suns kind of get targeted more than any other team?" I'm like, first, every small market team ever has said that exact same thing. Second, I think you've got some recency bias, right? So that's my take.
I haven't even seen anything about Phoenix recently.
Okay, so last night, Phoenix played LA, and this happened actually against Milwaukee as well. It's basically the last three games. This happened against Milwaukee as well. Drew Holiday is so I'll start with Milwaukee. Drew Holiday is one of the most physical. He's a very good perimeter defender. So don't hear what I'm not saying. He's not good, but he is physical. He's incredibly physical to a perimeter defender, because they play that drop D, and like, so he has to fight over every screen. He kind of has to hold you a little bit. And like Devin Booker got to the line some ridiculously low number of times. And some ridiculously low number of fouls was actually called on Milwaukee, whether on the floor or shooting. And Monty Williams called it out after that game. And then there was another game where it was kind of bad. And then last night they played the Lakers. The Suns shot 20 free throws, which is a pretty normal number. The Lakers shot 46 free throws. Austin Reeves shot 12 of them. I looked today quickly. I could only find, I think, 4 games this season where a team has shot more than 45 free throws. Last night, another layer to this is that Scott Foster was in the reffing crew, which I don't know if you know, like the Scott Foster, Chris Paul thing, but like Chris Paul is something like 2-15 in playoff games that Scott Foster refs, and he's lost the last 14 of them straight. So yeah, I guess it's that kind of stuff. And I get what you're saying, because I think that like people in Phoenix at all can just hear that rhetoric and kind of follow the league more and like get behind this whole like, oh, I know what they're doing. And then you got Devin Booker saying things like, yeah, look, I know when you watch these games, you can tell that the league's trying to push a certain agenda. Right. Devin Booker, a superstar, basically hinting at, there's an agenda. And then Luka Doncic doing, when he doesn't get calls, doing stuff like that, asking the refs who's paying him. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think the small market players feed into it. There's a lot of drama amongst players in the not the WNBA. There might be in the WNBA. In the NBA, there's a lot of drama amongst players off court. That's kind of the draw. But I don't know. Yeah, I've heard a lot of people say that it's unwatchable because of the refs. Specifically, they think because of ticky-tack calls. But yeah, I mean, then you get this stuff where it's like, what about no calls, right? What about when you feel like your team's really just getting shafted because, the league agenda is that the Lakers need to make the playoffs, right? Yeah. I mean, do you think it can be that far? Like, do you think that someone like Scott Foster could be like, look, I know what the league wants and I'm going to get it done?
I don't think they do that. I think that were the Lakers at home? Because I know there's like studies. I read a book for a sports analytics class that the refs will always like unintentionally favor the home team on close calls because the crowd reaction like positively reinforces it or something along those lines. I don't even know if they were at home or not.
Yeah,
but
so the refs are like they call it for the home team and the crowd goes crazy for them. They're like, yeah, got you. Okay. Yeah, the Lakers were at home.
Yeah, okay. So I imagine that's all there is to it. And then with like
do you think there's anything to the Scott Foster, Chris Paul thing?
I don't know. Maybe the first few were like just unlucky, and then Chris Paul started like expecting to get screwed, and then he screwed himself over.
It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy now.
But
my question is like to Chris Paul is, what did you do, man? Like, what did you do to this guy? Did you like date his daughter or something? And it's a bad breakup. Like,
yeah.
Could you imagine if you were a player and you dated it like an NBA ref's like family member? Like, would they be able to ref your games?
It'd be extra difficult.
Yeah, like you're at Sunday dinner and you're like, yeah, you screwed me.
You lost us that game last night. I don't know.
Lost us that game.
I don't know if we're cool anymore.
Yeah. I think we're gonna have to get a divorce. All right. How many likes do we got on the video, Casey?
John, I think this one's starting out pretty strong. I think we're at above 20. So we have two spins to do at some point in the show. So are you thinking we want to do one here?
Yeah, let's do a spin, dude.
All right.
So it's $25 NBA shop gift card. We try and give away quite a few of them. We give them away every show. So if it's your first time here, we do give away NBA or MLB or NFL shop gift cards every show, usually multiple of them per show. So a lot of people win, right? So they're 25. A lot of people have won like more than one of them.
It is interesting you asked, John. I did put out a poll to see how many people are new, and it looks like 27% of people with us today are new people who haven't joined us on a live before.
Dude, freaking everybody's here for you, bro. Thanks, Carter.
Let's go.
Yeah, what's up?
All right. If you don't see your name on the wheel, go ahead, Casey.
I was just going to say, yeah, if you don't see your name on the wheel, it's because you haven't been chatting. Of course, I don't make any mistakes, so I added everybody who's been chatting onto the wheel. If you don't, you should see yourself. But if you don't see yourself on there, start chatting in the chat because we're going to do our first spin now, and you can still get in on the second one. So without further ado, we'll spin now to see who wins the first $25 gift card.
My money's on NBA. Chris Wheeler.
I think it's going to be Brandon. Brandon, congrats.
Brandon's that's a great example. Someone who has actually won something before, I think. So stick around, you win stuff.
Yep. The diehards know how it goes. Brandon, you know the drill, I believe. But if you don't, make sure you email us, triplecrosspodcast@gmail.com. Let us know that you won a $25 wheel spin or $25 gift card wheel spin for the NBA shop on episode 50. And we'll get that to you in just the next couple of days.
For sure. Speaking of Brandon, I guess the players do have some power here. So this is interesting because everybody says like, oh, they should get fined. They should get that. We've talked about the refs before when they missed that LeBron call earlier in the year that basically cost the Lakers the game against the Celtics. It was like a very clear foul and they missed it. Mm-hmm. They should get fined or they should do this or that. And it's like, I think that they came out and said something like, well, I mean, just because we're not like publicly punishing our employees doesn't mean that like they don't like that there's not repercussions for this. So yeah, I guess that one that Van Vliet called out got demoted, and I guess there are penalties. But I've also heard, I think Jared, my usual co-host, said they make like $100K a year. I'm like, man, you can't fine guys too much when they make only $100K a year, man. Like that's, you know, fine them a couple times and they got a family to feed. It's not great for them, but or they could just do their job better, I suppose.
Yeah, difficult job though. Very difficult.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, we had somebody in the chat said they would take that salary. They'd be an NBA ref. Here it was.
I mean, look, I'm not scoffing at $100K a year, but like, how much can you fine them? You fine them $5,000 every time they get a call wrong, like what, or even $1,000 every time they get a call wrong in an 82 game season. Like, you know what I mean? Like I guess you could find them a couple $100 or something like that. But how much is right? You know, if you really
maybe just give them raises for like a good hit rate on correct calls or something.
I do wonder what their incentivization system is. You know what I mean? Like, if Scott Foster's particularly terrible, like, is he like one of the guys? You know what I mean? Like, is he like on the A squad? Is he one of the highest paid refs? You know what I mean? I do wonder what their incentivization system is, because that might give us more insight into why if there is any scripting. You know, do they get a cut from league revenue? Because if they do, then everybody knows, like, hey, the deeper the Lakers get, the deeper the Celtics get, the deeper the Heat get, the better. You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
They just need to get more. They need to get more creative with their revenue streams. I think, you know, just like players, we know they make a salary, but that's not all the money they make. They have sponsorships. I think those NBA refs, they need to get out there. They're doing as much running as the players are, maybe more.
NIL deals.
They don't get bench minutes. I think that'd be hilarious, like parody, like a Nike commercial. Or like the sponsored athlete, like you got the players out of focus in the background, and the refs just there,
yeah,
just running up and down the court. Come on,
yeah, get creative, refs. Like Tim Donaghy got creative. He got creative with his revenue streams. So it's not always the best to get creative. Get creative in the right ways.
All right. What we got next, John?
Yeah, Mike, good call out. Watching this and the NCAA men's tournament. What do we got right now? It was Kansas State. Is that game over?
I just checked. No, Kansas State's up 4 with 3.5 left.
Ooh, I think I had Michigan State coming out of that. Well,
and then
I don't know. My bracket's pretty much already ruined by Purdue and stuff.
I made all 25 second chance brackets. One's gonna hit.
Yeah, there you go.
Just pick the Sweet 16.
One'll hit. Yeah, if you make all of them, then you'll get one right.
You can't even make all Sweet 6 like Elite 8 combinations in 25. I don't think.
Oh,
that's
really?
A lot.
I did make 25 unique Elite 8s, but
you couldn't make 25. You couldn't make a perfect one, but you'd pick the champion.
Yeah,
you could probably even pick the final 4 with Elite 8.
Possibly.
Right? Yeah.
I mean, if you need 16 brackets to definitely pick the champion, then I think you need like a lot to guarantee the final 4.
Yeah. All right, here's what I want to move on to. My bracket's crushed. This is interesting. I guess let's spend a minute on this. What is the deal with NCAA hoops? Honestly, do you follow it very much, Gar?
I only watch the tournament.
I do too. I was trying to figure this out and hop in the chat if you know more about this. Like, why is it so wrong? Is it because it's like, why are the brackets and the seating so wrong? Is it because it's only one game? Is it because I've heard people say that like, oh, the new like transfer portal, the new transfer protocol, plus these NIL deals and stuff has like shaken up college sports so much. And that is true, especially in basketball. They transfer so much now. Like Mac McClung played 2 years of college ball at 2 different colleges, you know, and that's like not that weird at all. So yeah, I don't know why it is that like the seating is so wrong in these things, but it's wild, man.
I think just single game tournament, anything can happen. And then apparently a 1 seed losing to a 16 seed is possible now. It's happened twice in the last 5 years or so.
Right. And a 215 this year as well.
That's 3 straight years, I think. I didn't pick any 215s in my brackets. It was like it happened twice in a row. It's due to not, because it's like 7 of the last ever.
Yeah.
Third year in a row. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I get it's not a series, but you'd think that the cream would still rise to the top, I guess. But I don't know. I think it's a score, right? Like you see this in the league too. Like, how do the Rockets have 16 wins, or they got more now, 20 wins, or whatever? The Spurs, I mean, yeah, they have 20 hot nights over the course of the season, like really good shooting nights, or another team has a bad night, and some of those wins are like, didn't they beat the Celtics? I mean, yeah, like some of those wins are like pretty significant wins because it's like, well, they had a bad night, we had a good night. Anyway, this is what I wanted to move on to today is we are going to do a little segment where we're going to pick some all decade starting fives. We might do some follow-up content for this, where we simulate these in 2K, and we do a little in the spirit of March Madness, we do a little tournament of our own, a little all decade tournament. So I was kicking it back. We talked about this a little bit before the show, but for everyone who's here, I kicked it back all the way. I was like, all right, so how will we do this? If we go 2020s, 2010s, 2000s, in order to make an 8-team tournament, we would have to do a 1950s team, which I just decided, let's not do a 1950s team. That sounds awful. So the first seed's going to get a bye, and we'll come up with some way to seed the teams, like maybe via social media polls and stuff like that. So yeah, let's do it. So what we're going to do today is we're going to draft the teams. So let's draft maybe a team or two, and then we'll do another spin. Oh wait, how many spins do we owe, Casey? Do we owe one more spin or two more?
Currently I believe we have one more. You guys need to get to liking. Looks like we're 8 likes away from a third spin. So we'll see. People still leak in here because they don't all get the text at the same time. They don't all click at the same time for sure. So
right. Yeah.
If you haven't, hit that like button.
For sure. All right. So let's start with the 60. You want to start at the top and go, like, you want to go 60s to 2020s, or you want to go 2020s to 60s?
Let's start 60s.
All right. 1960.
Get them out of the way.
Yeah. Get it out of the way.
Love it.
What? The 60s isn't the best era of basketball?
Back when they played defense.
Yeah. Unless it was Will.
Good
They
old
didn't
days.
play any defense at all. They just let him score 80 whenever he wanted.
Yeah.
Okay. So 60s. I think, what do you want to do? Do you want to pick just like, let's just pick the best 5 players and put them in positions? Or do you want to like say there can only be one center? Because if we say there can only be one center, then we're talking about Will or Bill Russell. I think we should just pick the best 5 personally.
I'm good with that. Yeah.
I Googled, I have a top 10 list if you guys want some inspiration to start with.
I think I might be okay on the 60s, but maybe on the 70s I might need that. But I do think like maybe let's set some parameters for ourselves. Like we can't put a guard in like a 4 or a 5, like a true big. Like they have to be like one position adjacent type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So like we couldn't pick like a whole team full of like, oh, Steph Curry, Dame Lillard, and I don't know, Kyrie Irving. Like that's too many of that. Okay. So, I mean, are you, Will and Bill Russell? Let's start there. Both of them.
That's our 4-5.
That's our 4-5 or 4-5 or 5-4-5, whichever. They're just our twin towers.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, I think that's all the 60s team needs.
Yeah.
We just whoever else with them. But what else? Who else you got?
I was thinking Oscar West and Elgin for the 1, 2, 3.
Okay, Oscar West and Elgin. Who are we missing? Who would be
who you were saying?
Havlicek, Jerry West. We would be snubbing in that. I'm definitely good with. Oh no, you said West.
Yeah,
Havlicek or West.
Too.
So
I think Jerry West.
Why? Well, yeah, say more. Why do you think West over Havlicek?
I don't look into a ton of historic stuff, but the people that I talk to that are big on all-time lists, they're all really high on Jerry West, and I think he made a bunch of finals and averaged a bunch of points.
Yeah, that's true.
Imagine Havlicek always like a number 2 guy?
I think it was. Yeah, I think it was like West and Wilt versus Havlicek and Bill Russell like a bunch of times in the finals, and Havlicek and Bill Russell won them, obviously.
Havlicek had a 29 point per game season.
Okay, that's pretty good. I mean, I don't know. It's so hard to contextualize the 60s because it was like, yeah, he had a 29 point per game season. Wilt had
West
like a 36 point per game.
Though.
Yeah, Wilt had a 36 point per game decade.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm good with West. Robertson.
West ranks 5th all time in points per game. Is that right? Could that be
Yeah,
accurate?
West was a scorer.
Yeah, he's 27 in his career.
Well, so on that Lakers squad, I don't know who else was on that Lakers squad, but it was basically Wilt Chamberlain and Jerry West. That was the whole squad. And yeah, and like just whoever else. And that's probably maybe that's why maybe the Celtics were a little more complete. I'm just making up narratives because I wasn't there, and there's not a lot of. It's not like you can watch a lot of game film on this. So I'm good with Robertson, West, Russell, Chamberlain, and who was your 5th?
Elgin Baylor at the 3.
Oh yeah, Elgin Baylor. Okay. All right, let's move on to 70s. Who do we got? Give me some inspo here. Or
Definitely Kareem, right?
Yeah,
At this
Kareem.
time.
Well, Kareem could be in the 80s though too.
It'll be 7. I think it'll be in both.
Okay, so if they're
Assuming
going to be in
not.
both, if they're going to be in
we
both,
can say any Bucks Kareem for 70s and then Lakers Kareem for 80s.
Okay, yep, I'm good with
Pick a
that.
specific year we can.
Any Bucks Kareem, I would take any year, honestly. I just don't know the years well enough to know.
Bob Dandridge, Dave Cohen's, Wes Unseld, Havlicek, Hayes,
Havlicek again.
Bob McAdoo, Walt Frazier, Bob Lanier, Kareem.
Walt Frazier and Kareem in the big spots.
I think Walt Frazier's a guard.
Oh yeah, Frazier. Who am I thinking of?
I
don't know who I'm thinking of.
Bill Walton?
Dr. J. We can't forget Dr. J. So we have to remember the ABA. We have to remember the ABA. Thank you, Michael. And Bill Walton. Ooh, we got. What are we going to do about
Was
the
Bill
bigs?
Walton that decade? I just said it because I thought that's who you were thinking of for the big.
Yeah, so we got Bill Walton, Dr. J, and some Bucks version of Kareem, right?
Yeah.
Can we fit all of those guys onto the floor together? Can we put Dr. J at the 3?
Yeah.
Okay.
He gets called a small forward.
All right. Who are our guards in the 70s? Is Elgin still playing in the 70s?
I'm looking at some lists. I think Walt Frazier should be on here, the 1 or 2.
Okay. Give us some 70s guards, chat.
Wilt played
a lot
few
easier.
years, but he was a little washed. He guards. When did Magic start? 80 on the dot.
80 on the dot, huh? Oh, Magic's probably the best guard of the 1980s.
Yeah.
Well, really any other guard in the 70s is probably going to work.
Pete Maravich.
Pistol. Yeah. As a Jazz fan, I'm going to just make the command field decision to put Pistol in there.
Oh,
all right. So we got Pistol Pete, Walt Frazier. So Pete Maravich, Walt Frazier, Dr. J, Julius Erving, Bill Walton, and Kareem / Lou Cinder. Okay. 80s. Magic
80s
and Kareem again.
And another Kareem.
Another Magic, another Kareem.
Bird, right? Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely Bird. Who
is Bird's guard? Who is Bird's guard?
I think he just played with McHale, right?
Oh, yeah, that's true. So he was a big.
That was his, yeah.
So does he go in the 80s, do you think? Or who else? I mean, Michael Jordan started in what year? 84?
84, yeah.
I mean, probably the 1988 or 1989 season of Michael Jordan was like pretty legendary. So probably Jordan.
He was already leading the league in scoring for the final 3 years of the 80s.
Yeah, so
Magic.
We got
Magic, Jordan, Bird,
Isaiah.
and Kareem, and then who else? We got Isaiah Thomas, plus whoever else was on that bad boy Pistons. Well, okay. What do we do with Isaiah?
The full decade of Isaiah, or do we go half a decade of Michael Jordan? Or are we just picking like?
I mean, Michael Jordan's for sure going to be on the '90s squad.
Yeah.
Moses Malone, Dominique Wilkins, gosh, Parrish, McHale. 80s is where it starts to get tough.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So we got to figure out this. We got to figure out what we do with Magic. I wish Magic would just be
Definitely
as
Magic.
I wish he could just. Okay. I'm gonna throw this out there. Magic is 6'8", 6'10".
Yeah, he's tall.
Can we put him at the 3? Isaiah Thomas, Michael Jordan, Magic, Bird at the 4, Kareem at the 5.
That could be the play.
Wait, you say Magic the 2, John?
When did Charles Barkley start? He's for sure gonna. He might be on the '90s squad. Yeah, no, not Magic at the 2, Magic at the 3. I mean, that is 2 positions away from where he played. But
say it one more time.
It would be Isaiah Thomas at the 1, Jordan at the 2, Magic at the 3, Bird at the 4.
Jordan
Kareem
be
at
a
the
3
5.
before Magic?
I mean, yeah, you could put Jordan at the 3. I don't care. Put one of them at the 3.
All right.
Karl Malone and Charles Barkley would probably be candidates for the '90s squad. When did they start?
Karl Malone. Looking at Moses could be a candidate for this one instead of
Moses and Wilkins. This one's tough. Patrick Ewing would be '90s, I think. I'm just watching the chat.
Karl Malone's gonna be '90s. Stockton's gonna be '90s.
Isaiah Thomas could be '90s, but I think Stockton over Isaiah for '90s personally. But John Starks would be '90s.
We could make it, since there's such a log jam kind of starting, we could make it so that we pick the player in their best decade only and replace them in other decades.
Yeah, interesting. Then we just would have to pick a backup. Then we just would have to pick a backup. So Wilkins and Malone. Malone would be a backup 5 and Wilkins would be a backup 3, I think, right?
Wait, so are we limiting it to one decade per player?
One decade. No, I don't think we should do that because I'm just thinking of like there's going to be a pretty serious log jam in the 2000s and 2010s.
Yeah, because we'd have to pick what 2000s LeBron or 2010s LeBron.
Yeah,
I mean it'd be 2010s.
Yeah, we could do that. We could say they can only play for one decade.
I think that'd work.
Let's do it. All right.
Did we skip Wilt?
The 70s. Or what?
No, we didn't skip Wilt. He's in the 60s.
Oh, okay. We didn't do it.
So I think 60s can stay. And then did we dupe any 70s from the 60s?
We didn't dupe any 70s for Kareem.
Kareem.
No, we didn't use Kareem. We didn't use Kareem. So yeah, Kareem is 70s and 80s. So we got to pick. Okay. I think we got to go 80s with Kareem.
Let's see.
Well, there's a lot of other good guys.
And the end of the 80s, he was a bit washed, and then all of the 70s, he was.
We could put him in the 70s because in the 80s we have other guys. We have Moses Malone in the 80s.
I'll get us a visual here going so that we can see this, guys.
Yeah, so I think we go to the 70s with Kareem. I think in the 80s we go with Moses Malone in that 5 spot, or who else?
Probably Moses.
McHale?
I think Moses. Moses is nice.
Yeah, Moses. And then what are we doing with Jordan? Jordan's going to go 90s, and we're going to put Dominic Wilkins in that 3. Right?
Yeah. Jordan goes to 90s. So what's our 80s? Magic.
So 80s is Magic. 80s is Isaiah, Magic, Dominic Wilkins, Larry Bird, and Moses Malone. It's a good 80s squad.
All right, now tell me again. What am I doing?
Isaiah Thomas, Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan is going to go to the 90s, and we're going to put Dominic Wilkins in that 3 spot.
Okay.
Oh, wait. Okay, never mind. That's 90s, right?
Yeah, and then Larry Bird's going to stay. Kareem's going to go to the 70s, and we're going to put Moses Malone in the 80s.
Name.
All right, that's 90s.
Everything else look good so far?
Yeah, I think we're good. 60s you're missing, but that's all right. We can go back.
Yeah, no, I didn't start this till after we'd already finished that, and I was not remembering those guys.
90s where it's going to get tough. My vote for starting point guard of the 90s is John Stockton, but I realize I'm very biased in that take.
throw them in there.
I don't think there's. What are the other options that we haven't used?
I mean, it'd be Isaiah Thomas. It'd be.
Well, you already used them in the 80s.
80s. So I think
That's
it's
true.
just
That's
Stockton.
true, yeah. Starks would be an option. Starks would be a 2, though.
I'll go Stockton.
Penny Hardaway.
Jordans are 2. And
Jordans are
Hakeem's
2.
are 5 for sure.
Yep, I'm good with that. So I think you're Malone or Barkley in the 4 spot.
I'd say Karl Malone
At the 4.
And then who's our 3?
What do you want to do with the 3? You got Pippen. You could move Barkley to the 3, I suppose. Hakeem Olajuwon in the 5 spot, Casey.
Gotcha. Making sure I spell it right.
Oh, another 90s candidate would be Gary Payton.
Ooh,
for the 1 spot.
I think I'd still go Stockton.
I think I would too. Penny Hardaway would be another
article went Charles Barkley and Malone and Hakeem. I think that's a little too big though.
Barkley,
Charles Barkley's like 6'6", right? Isn't he short?
Well, Pippen.
Oh wait, hold on. Hold on. We forgot David Robinson.
Oh, the Admiral.
Rob.
Oh man, what do we do now? I mean, oh jeez.
He's not over Hakeem, but he might be over Karl Malone.
You think? In the 90s. So you know who we're really shafting here is players who were like good for 2 half decades. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sucks to suck, dude. I don't know.
Mike, get out of here with Dikembe Mutombo. No.
Yeah.
You think we're gonna get Dikembe Mutombo into this? We're talking about bumping Karl Malone right now.
Oh, Reggie Miller. There's some
same
great
thing with Sean Kemp. I love Sean
here.
Kemp. We're not going to be able to get him into this.
This is tough. Yeah.
Oh,
Remember,
man,
anybody who had a better decade, we wouldn't put in the 90s guys. I think there's some of these guys you could put in that category.
What do you think, Carter? Could we
Maybe
move Karl Malone all the way back to the 3? Is that reasonable at all?
Who? Malone?
I think the only power forward we can put at the 3 is Charles Barkley.
Okay.
Because he was like 6'6", 6'7".
So we got to make a decision between Karl Malone, Hakeem Olajuwon, and David Robinson.
Hakeem's a lot.
And Pippen. We got to put Pippen in there too, right?
Pippen and Barkley.
Because Pippen's the most pure 3 out of the group, at least, right?
I might just go Pippen at the 3.
Let's do 2 polls in a row. Casey, can you give me a poll on Karl Malone, Hakeem Olajuwon, and who was the other one? David Robinson. And
it would be eliminate 1.
Yep. Yeah. So the 2 at the top, 2 votes is those 2. Somebody just said Shaq is a 90s. 100% Shaq is a 2000s. Shaq is maybe the most dominant player.
Yeah, Shaq was like second half. Shaq started in 93.
He did start in 93, and he was good.
That's a lot of. That's a lot of
dominant
90s
player. He was the most dominant player of the 2000s, I think.
He was. Yeah, he was.
Shaq 00 to Shaq 06. I mean,
John, you want Olajuwon, Malone, and who else in the poll?
Olajuwon, Malone,
Robinson,
and
honestly, I think Hakeem's a lock. I'd say it's between D-Rob and Karl Malone for that 4 spot.
You're going to lock in Hakeem? Okay, so just give me Karl Malone and David Robinson in a poll. Okay, Casey?
Gotcha.
And then after that, give me Charles Barkley and Pippen in a poll.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Okay. While he's doing that, let's go to 2000s. Man, this is not going to get easier.
Okay.
Okay, 2000s point guards. Let's start there. Or who do you want to lock in the 2000s? I think we got to lock Shaq in the 2000s.
Shaq and Kobe?
Sure. Because everybody's only 1 decade. Everybody's going to go only 1 decade. So let's lock Shaq into the 5 spot 100%.
Yeah.
Okay.
He would, and then let's lock Tim Duncan into the 4 spot.
Oof, I forgot he existed. Yeah, Duncan at the 4, and then Kobe at the 2.
Kobe at the 2, AI at the 1.
Oh man, that.
We're definitely forgetting someone. Nash, Kidd.
I think Nash is the 1.
You think Nash over Kidd?
Yeah, 2 MVPs.
So you think
I wouldn't go AI just because it's a lot of scoring.
You're thinking about team chemistry now.
You're
starting to think about team chemistry.
I would go AI next to Kobe. Ooh, KG just can't make it. I mean, Duncan and Shaq are there. KG just
You
can't.
can't. Well, yeah. What are you gonna put KG over Tim Duncan? You can't do it. Yeah.
I think KG is the second best power forward ever. But it's Shaq and Duncan.
You think he's a better power forward than Karl Malone, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like that.
One spot. Okay, so we got Tracy McGrady.
Karl Malone, by the way, Karl Malone beat out David Robinson by a landslide.
Okay, Karl Malone is our 4.
And then
that means the Admiral's not in this at all.
Scottie Pippen versus
Barkley.
Charles Barkley. Yeah.
Yes. All right. So we got a lot of chat suggestions here. I appreciate this chat because it helps me remember who I'm forgetting. So in the 2000s, Tracy McGrady, Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett, Tony Parker, Dirk, Carmelo.
Dirk. Man, we got to leave out Dirk and KG. That's tough.
Well, we can move Dirk to a 3, I think.
He can shoot, so it'd be fine.
So in the 3, we're talking about Tracy McGrady could be a 3. Paul Pierce could be a 3. Dirk could be a 3. Carmelo's a 3. I don't think you can put KG in the 3. He's like Karl Malone. You can't. Yeah. So what do you think? In the 1, what do you got? You got Steve Nash. You got Tony Parker.
I'd say Nash.
Nash over Parker and Kidd.
Yeah. This article that I've been following, they went Nash as well, and they went Dirk at the 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
That is a big 3, though.
It's a big 3, but he's a stretcher.
Yeah.
All right, let's go. I'm good with Nash at the 1.
Right.
And then let's after this Barkley Pippen poll, let's do one more poll for the 3 spot, and let's put Dirk.
Ooh.
Let's put Dirk, Pierce, Melo, and who else? Dirk, Pierce, Melo, and maybe Tracy McGrady.
We can save him for 2010.
I think McGrady's out. We're also Tim Hardaway's not in here either, but I just don't think there's room for him, honestly.
Nah.
Okay, so after that Pippen Barkley poll, do a poll for Dirk, Carmelo, and who was the other one that I just said?
T-Mac?
Dirk, Carmelo, T-Mac, and Paul Pierce.
Wow, I forgot about Paul Pierce.
I know.
I don't think he gets it over.
Yeah. So Casey, did you catch that?
No.
Yeah, Kevin Christian's throwing us a Stephon Marbury. Look, I'm not disrespecting Steph Marbury. He's not gonna make this. Like, we're talking about kicking Dirk out. I mean,
I don't hate Pierce at the 3 just because he's an actual 3.
I know. Well, and so is Carmelo.
Yeah,
Carmelo's an actual 3 as well.
All right.
Who won
Scottie Pippen is our winner of the
Ooh, that means Charles Barkley is out of here.
Later, dog.
We got 2 Bulls, 2 Jazz, and Hakeem. That's a great team. Dude, that 90s squad is tough.
Yeah, that is.
All right, so give me a poll with Dirk, Dirk, Tracy McGrady, Carmelo Anthony, and Paul Pierce. Okay. You got that, Casey?
Yep.
All right, let's go to 2010s while we get that. Dirk's in the placeholder spot.
So, LeBron,
locked.
Steph.
Okay, well, we also have to consider, so no Steph in the 2020s then.
Yeah, I'd say 2010s. That's where he got all his most of his championships and his MVPs.
Okay, so LeBron in the 3, Steph in the 1. I'm good with that.
I was thinking Chris Paul, but I think you have to go James Harden.
In the 2, yes, I do. I think so in the 2010s for sure.
So Steph, Harden, LeBron.
Kevin Durant in the 4, I think.
Kevin Durant easily. And then we need a center.
This is when they started playing more positionless.
I'm thinking, I think this is a little bit.
If Dirk loses his poll, he can be our 2010 center.
Yeah.
He went from 3 to 5 real quick.
Paul George. So people are saying D Rose. Nah, I mean D Rose. I actually love D Rose, but he wasn't good for long enough to make an all-decade team.
Not getting over Steph or Harden.
Klay Thompson can't take it over Harden or LeBron.
Jokic is going to be too late. Embiid's going to be too late.
Yeah, they're going to be in the 2020s. Who did you just say?
Oh, do we have a 2020s team too, John?
Yeah, 2020s as well.
Okay.
What'd you say, Carter?
DeMarcus Cousins. I don't think he was good for long enough.
No, but nah. I mean, look, I love me some Boogie, but Paul George.
Might
Dude,
be
I mean, the
Anthony
playoff P
Davis
version.
here
Oh, Anthony Davis.
at the 5. Ooh, Dwight.
Dwight was really good in the 2010s, but not for a long time. Chat, give us a 2010s
Yeah,
5. Oh, Felix made a good
100%.
point. We're this format also ignores Dwayne Wade a little bit. But I actually looking at it though,
Is
I
there
don't
anywhere
think
to
he's
put
good
him?
enough. I mean, we can't put him in the 2010s over Harden, and we can't put him in the 2000s over Kobe, I don't think.
No.
I think if you fit anywhere,
Unless
it'd
you
have
wanted
to
to
be in
run
the
like
teens.
maybe over
right?
Nash, but you're losing a point guard.
Wade over Nash. I would actually be okay with
Who,
that.
who do we have in here? I didn't. I must be behind.
Steph, LeBron, KD.
You want to hear our
Harden.
here's our
Oh,
chat
sorry, not in that
suggestion.
order. I was
Oh.
just kind of naming them. Steph, Harden, LeBron, KD, or KD, LeBron. I don't know what we're doing. with the
KD
ordering.
LeBron. I would say KD LeBron is a little more true, but doesn't matter.
Gotcha.
We started playing positionless in the 2010s.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's wacky out here.
So here are the chat
Who-
suggestions.
we still need
The big men really took a big downhill turn in the 2010s. Here are our chat suggestions for big men. We got Dwight Howard, Paul Millsap, and Chris Bosh.
Paul Mills.
Let's put LeBron in the 5 spot and just
Put LeBron
lean
in the
into
5
it.
spot. That way we make it. That way we put Harden in the 3, KD in the 4, and then we get
Bosh
D
is
Wade
not
in
Well,
there.
then you can get D Wade. Yeah. I mean, hey.
Bosh or I'm down with Dirk being my. How's that poll doing, Casey?
Oh yeah, good point. Let's see here. It's looking Dirk. It's looking very Dirk.
Oh no, Dirk goes to the 2010s. That's where he
Okay.
belongs.
It's Dirk.
I mean, he's a big 3.
This
but...
the website I've been looking at, they went with Marc Gasol at the 5.
Huh.
Oh,
I don't know if he's even the best Gasol.
Yeah, Powell would definitely be.
would you have either of those guys in
Consideration.
over D Wade though, and just kind of making it positionless?
Yeah, honestly, I'll put LeBron or KD at my 5, and Anthony Davis is
Jeez,
actually probably
this team runs into the 2000s with Duncan, Shaq, and Dirk, guarded up by KD, LeBron, and Dwayne Wade as their full court.
Oh, it's gonna be ugly.
Or they
They're
run
just
into Bill and Wilt.
hope those threes
That'd
are
be
hitting.
fun.
You know,
I think they need a 5. I think we
Dwight is
No,
probably
like Kevin
Dwight's a good
Garnett or
reinforcement.
anything, right? Like
Michael said Blake Griffin.
Blake Griffin.
they're still
Really?
getting destroyed by every. And they need a center. I think.
I
Is
mean,
Kevin
dude, it's
Garnett out
probably
of line,
Light.
like big time?
Is Kevin Garnett out of line? By the 2010s.
Yeah, he only had his like Celtics years there.
Yeah.
By
And
the
then
2010s, he's out of line. Yeah, shoot. I wish he weren't though. Man,
Yeah.
the era of the
I
big
think,
men was the
I
90s
think
and
Anthony
2000s.
Davis.
Anthony
Ooh.
Davis over Blake Griffin, you think? Oh, Amari
Yeah.
Stoudemire. What about Amari Stoudemire?
Amari. Let's see what years he
He was more of a 2000s guy for sure.
Let's just throw David Admiral or David Robinson on this team.
David Admiral, yeah.
Amari was kind of done by around 2012, 2013.
The chat
terms
is
of
trying
all-star
so
days.
hard to help us. They're reaching Andrew Bogut,
Bogut.
Brooke Lopez,
Brooke.
Andrew Bogut, mate. We could put Andrew Bogut in the 5 spot.
Jokic is too late. Jokic should be 20s. Roy Hibbert.
I mean, Jokic was good in the 2010s. Are you
Only those
firmly
last
saying
couple
like
years.
we couldn't put Embiid or Jokic in the 5 spot?
I don't think
here?
so because they were only really good for like the last couple seasons of the 2010s. Like all-time great level.
All right,
those
let's
last couple
go.
years.
I think we got to go Dwight or Anthony Davis or Bosh maybe.
Anthony Davis because Dwight was a lot of late 2000s.
Yeah, that's true. Michael, dude, I appreciate your help, but Joakim Noah, there just isn't anybody, you know. I think we got to go Dwight or Anthony Davis. Who do you want?
I'd say AD. Just
All right,
because
let's go
Dwight
AD.
was like, I don't even know
Dwight
if he
was-
had any Magic years in the 2010s. I think it was just like the Lakers and then the Rockets.
Oh yeah, let's not do Rockets Dwight Howard. All right.
Oh,
All
he
right,
did have
let's
two
go. Let's
Magic
go.
years.
Let's move on to the 2020s here. Okay, so I think
Giannis,
for sure,
Jokic, and Embiid
Giannis, Jokic, Embiid.
is
Who's
our
the 3?
MVP
Who's the
front
3,
court.
Giannis?
Yeah. Giannis 3, Jokic 4, Embiid 5, and then Luka
Okay,
1.
Yeah. 1, 2. Okay, best guards so far this decade.
Jokic is JOKIC.
I'm gonna put Dame in this in one of these
that was
spots
a
for
typo.
sure.
Luka
I would have
Dame.
Dame. Yeah, I think so.
Who else are we missing?
It would be Dame. It would be. I mean, Steph is already in a decade.
Yeah.
Kyrie probably would be in there. Well, I don't know because since 2020 he's
Dame.
like, oh, Luka. We could put Luka in a guard spot.
I'd say Luka and Dame is
Oh,
the
yeah.
backcourt, unless I'm
Gotta be
missing
Luka.
somebody.
Dude, this 2020 squad is tough. If anybody can beat that 90s or the 2000s squad, it's the 2020 squad for sure.
Do you want Dame
Okay,
then Luka or Luka then Dame?
Luka's the one.
Dame
He's
1,
more
Luka 2.
big.
Yeah, Dame 1, Luka 2. Devin Booker would be another also ran guard, but I don't think he's at the Dame level. Yeah, chat, let us know who we're missing in the 2020s. This one's probably the easiest because it's so recent. I mean, Donovan Mitchell's emerging, but I don't think he's there. He's not at Dame level. Am I missing anyone in Miami? Who am I missing in the East? Because I don't follow the East as much. I'll think West. You think East. Give it a second.
I mean, there's Trey, but he's not Dame.
Ja would be another one in the West.
Shea
would be in the West too. I think
nobody's.
I'm going to put
Dame
Shea,
level.
Donovan Mitchell, and Ja Morant all in the same boat of like almost. Yeah. If we made this 2-3 years from now, maybe, but not quite over Dame or Luka yet.
These guys feel more established. This group.
Yeah,
for sure.
Kemba Walker. No, he can't make. This is a tight list, man.
Is this
Seth Curry? Yeah. Honorable mention. Mikal Bridges might be emerging too. Jeez.
To do like a 2030s, like projecting into the future.
Yeah, 2030s.
Wembanyama.
Oh, Jason Tatum. What do we do with Jason Tatum here?
You can't. He's not better than Giannis, Jokic, or Embiid.
Yeah.
Can we put him in a 2 spot and put him with Luka?
I don't think he's better.
That's a big team.
Nah.
I mean,
would you boot him for Dame?
Jeez. For just the 2020s? I wouldn't. I think it's close enough to where you just give it to Dame because position. I think Tatum's better right now.
It's a stretch to make Tatum a 3 or a 2. Sorry.
Yeah.
Jaylen Brown, not better than Dame probably either. Yeah, no, that's interesting. So Tatum's out. I mean, yeah, I'm good with that. I feel good about it. If you take the whole body of the 2020s, I feel good about it. Casey, how many likes we had on this video? And do we have any active polls going right now?
Hold on, I got to get through this last name here.
MPO.
There we go. Got there. Sorry,
okay.
Guys, that one's
do we have any active polls going right now? That's the first question I have.
We do not, because Dirk was the last poll.
Okay.
So we're all set.
So did we have a poll that we wanted to do? No, I think we were good. All right.
Likes on the video, we are at 25.
25 likes on the video. If you haven't liked the video, like it, because if we get 5 more, we'll do 2 wheel spins for NBA Shop gift cards. Oh, somebody just called out someone that we missed a little bit. Kawhi Leonard.
Jeez.
Which decade did he ever play?
In the 2000s.
He would
be in the 2010s.
And you can't put him over any of those guys.
No.
Well, could you move one of those guys to the 20s or the 2000s? Could you move KD to the 2000s and put Kawhi in there? And then bump Dirk? Oh, then we'd be bumping Dirk.
I think you have to.
I think you have to leave him in the 10s.
Yeah.
Would you even bump Dirk for Kawhi, though? I mean,
that'd be close.
Dude,
at the
Kawhi.
At the small forward spot, you go Kawhi.
Yeah, Kawhi was cold, dude. Back before Zaza Pachulia got underneath him, Kawhi was cold. Dirk was pretty cold, too, though.
Yeah, Dirk's no good. I mean, Felix will probably never watch our show again if we took
Felix will, yeah. Felix will abandon us if we get rid of Kawhi. Kyle Lowry, no. Chat, hit us with everyone you can think of. Who we missing here? Hit us with everyone that you can think of. Felix says Dirk didn't load manage. Well, yeah, that's because load management didn't even become a thing Like, seriously, do you remember load management being a thing at all before Kawhi basically wrote it into his contract with the Clippers?
I mean,
do you remember
you didn't
anyone
see
doing
guys
it?
missing this many games? Not in this. That's not a shot at Kawhi. Just in general, it's just no one's.
Do you
It's
remember?
usually like the expectation is you play 70 or so games in a season and not 60.
Well, I think that the expectation was you play unless you're actually hurt, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't like a number of games you were shooting for. It was like that you didn't miss a game just to rest, which they totally do now. But I feel like I'm being unfair to Kawhi when I say that. I'm not saying I don't like Kawhi, no disrespect, but like, maybe it's my recency bias. Do you remember anyone doing it before he came to the Clippers and started doing it?
I'm honestly not sure.
I don't think so. I don't remember.
He's definitely the staple of load management, though.
Yeah.
Whether or not
I don't remember
deserved
anyone.
or not.
All right. The chat's hitting us with everything they can, trying to tell us who we missed. They're saying Kyle Lowry, not good enough to get into this group. CJ McCollum,
once we get to Aaron Gordon and a different version of Ray Allen, I think we're good.
Yes. CJ McCollum, not good enough in this group. Serge Ibaka, not good enough to get in this group. Chris Middleton, man, this guy's got to figure it out, because he is a guy who, like, we could be talking about right now is good enough to be in the 2020 squad if it weren't for this year. Paul George, we did talk about him, not quite good enough in this group. Aaron Gordon, nah. Jamal Murray, but if we get the bubble version of him, maybe. Just DeAndre Jordan, no. I think we got it, man. I think we got it.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to lock it in. How we doing on likes? Did we get to 30 or are we still under 30?
We are still under 30. So that means we do have one more spin to do.
One more giveaway, and then we will get out.
That's it, boys. Okay. Well, let's get to it then. So I want to thank everybody for showing up on this episode of Triple Cross. And if this is your first time here, make sure you come back again. This is not a new thing for us. We do these giveaways on every episode.
I think one new person just hopped in the chat. Don't forget them. Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you. You like had your mojo going, and I was like, "Hey, Casey."
Ooh, actually, you're right. Good call,
yeah. So hey, hurry up, hop in the chat quickly. If you haven't been in the chat, if you've just been watching, that's cool. I'm good with lurkers, but you will not win an NBA Shop gift card if you haven't been in the chat, because we don't know you're here, so we couldn't give you one.
Okay, it's been kind of a busy episode, so I'm gonna pop this on the screen real quick. And you tell me if you don't see your name on this list.
All right. While we're going to give everyone a second to do that, Carter, I know you're more of an Eastern Conference guy, but I'm going to ask you, because the Western Conference is a cluster right now. So I'm going to ask you the question that's on everyone's mind about the Western Conference. Let me pull it up here, so that you can.
I don't even know if I have an answer. If I know what's coming.
Yeah, I think you probably know what's coming. So. In the West, we got the 6 seed. So there's it just depends where you draw the line. The real line is all the way up at the 3 seed. But right now, let's draw the line at the 4 seed Suns all the way to the 12 seed Pelicans, unless you want to put the Trailblazers in there, but that makes it nice and clean. Yeah. 4 seed Suns all the way to the 12 seed Pelicans. That's 8 teams. There's going to be 4 actual spots, 6 spots for the play-in. I'll read off the names to you. Tell me who you think makes the play-in, who you think makes the playoffs. So we got Suns, Clippers, Warriors, Timberwolves, Thunder, Mavericks, Lakers, Jazz, Pelicans.
Okay. I think the Jazz are going to stay out. I've been like monitoring this. The Jazz have a pretty rough remaining schedule, and they should have some incentive to like lose games, because they were supposed to be tanking at the beginning of the year and they didn't do that.
Well, I don't think anyone told the players they were supposed to be tanking.
Yeah.
You know? That's the problem. Danny Ainge was like, did you guys not get the memo, the plan? The plan was to get the picks.
I think the Lakers get in the play-in. Let's see.
The Lakers make the play-in.
Suns,
so you got Jazz on the outside.
Spot. Jazz outside, miss. Pelicans, if Zion doesn't come back, miss.
I got them as a miss if Zion doesn't come back.
Yeah, and then Portland's gonna stay out. Lakers
Yeah, I didn't
stay play in. Thunder stay play in. Mavs stay play. I think honestly it'll probably end up how
so you
it
got
is
the
now,
play in.
but
You
just-
got the 10. You got the 10 right now as basically what it is right now. So Jazz and Pelicans on the outside,
yeah.
and then everyone else in the play in. So now we got the play in that would include some combination of Suns, Clippers, Warriors, Timberwolves, Thunder, Mavericks.
Honestly, I think it'll stay how it is. It seems decently organized right now. Unless Dallas goes on a hot streak, which I've been waiting on forever because they have an easy schedule.
Yep.
But it just hasn't happened.
So that means in the plan we would have T-Wolves in the 7 spot, T-Wolves, Thunder in the 7-8 spot, Mavericks, Jazz in the 9-10 spot, or Mavericks, Lakers in the 9-10 spot, something like that.
Maybe
Some combination of that.
passes
So out of those
OKC.
teams, so out of those teams, T-Wolves, Thunder, Mavericks, Lakers, who you think makes the actual playoffs?
We'll say.
Give me the seed. Who gets the 7?
We'll say we
Who
get a
gets the 8?
Timberwolves 7 seed, Mavs 8 seed, and the Mavs beat them and get into the 7 spot. And then Thunder 9, Lakers 10. Lakers beat them to stay alive. And then we'll say the Lakers beat the Timberwolves and they grab the 8 spot. And then
So
am I doing
Mavs-
the playoffs?
Nope. So then we got Mavs 7, Lakers 8, basically, is what you
Yeah.
think. Okay. So then we would have a Lakers Nuggets and a Mavs Grizzlies. We'd have Kings, Warriors, or Clippers. So do you think the 4, 5, 6 stays about the same?
Yeah, Clippers lost Paul George. They shouldn't really shoot up.
Do you think they'll drop though? Do you think they'll drop?
Yeah, maybe the Warriors take that 5 spot.
So Warriors Suns. I would love a Warriors Suns. Actually, you know
Warriors
what?
Grizzlies, but
I want
I don't know
Warriors
how we
Grizzlies
could
as
get that to
well.
set up. Memphis would have to
They got
fall.
the Warriors got to fall into the play in and get the 7 seed. I would love that.
Ideal first round matchups. I think you get Mavs Suns, which Dallas would need to pick up a few, and then you get Warriors Grizzlies.
Yeah.
And then there's no beef outside of that.
Yeah. Those would be great. Those would be. I hope we get one of them at some point in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Warriors Grizzlies even more so though.
Yeah.
I love what they got going on. I love the trash talk between Dylan Brooks and basically everybody.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Everybody's had a minute to make sure that their name's on the wheel. Casey, you pretty confident?
Yeah, I feel good about it. We
Feeling
did get somebody else in there, so I'm glad we stopped for a second.
All right. Yes. All right. Cool. Well, here we go. $25 NBA shop gift card. If it lands, wheel lands on your name, you win it.
My money's on Rose.
Rose B. She's won before. She's a past champion.
Oh, you were
should
just
put your
off on
money
a
on the
spin,
same
Carter.
person.
Is that?
Oh,
Wait. Oh, that's what I picked before.
yeah. Well, you're just changing your pick.
I was just predicting the future from before.
So
Chris,
Rose, you got to
congratulations.
tune in.
Finally got a win.
Rose,
Make
you're
sure
winning
you
the
email
next one.
us.
Yeah.
Make
Rose,
sure you
you gotta
email
come
us
next time to win.
triplecrosspodcast@gmail.com. Let us know you won a $25 NBA shop gift card wheel spin on episode 50. We'll get it to you right away.
For sure. All right. Carter, my guy, thank you for being here. Chat, hop in. Let me know. What'd you think of Carter? You want him back or nah? Was it like, nah, this just wasn't as good. Get him out of here. Or maybe you just want Carter. You don't even want me. Let me know. Or maybe you want Casey out of here. Casey can't leave. He does all the things. Casey pushes all the buttons, so he can't leave because we won't know what to do. So let us know. What do you want? You want Carter back? If you want him back, enough people want him back. Maybe I'll convince him to come back. Thanks for hanging out. It was fun. Love talking hoops. Thanks for being here, man. And Triple Cross, if you're watching, if you're listening on an audio platform like Spotify or Apple Podcasts or SoundCloud or any other audio platform out there, please rate the show and review the show. That helps us out a lot on those platforms. If you are watching on YouTube, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you hit the bell icon so you get notifications when we're live, because when we're live is when we give away NBA shop gift cards. Casey, did I miss anything or did I say all the YouTube things?
I think we said all the things. Congratulations to everybody who won gift cards. And Carter, feel free to plug anything one more time before we get out of here.
My podcast with Mason and John is Winners Work Pod on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. And then my Instagram is right here at NBA District. And also shout out Chris for winning the wheel. I called it.
Let's go.
All right, guys, we're going to get out of here. Thanks for coming. See you next time. Bye.